I was
Since we have,
hiding from you, children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
John, would you like
You're
to call the
welcome.
meeting to order and see if we have a quorum?
Sure. Commissioner Couture,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Tasic is absent. Commissioner Janjigian is absent. Vice Chair Corrigan
Here.
and Chair Waldman.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
All right. All right, before we go into our agenda, as the chair, it's my responsibility to see if there are any comments from the public, and it looks like we do have a member of the public. Larry, did you have any comments for items that are not on the agenda?
You're muted.
You're muted. We can't hear you. Okay. I will assume that no comments means you have no comments for any items that are not on the agenda. So let's go ahead and move to the agenda. And today we have, I'm going to say we have a fun job of hopefully assigning some of these sculptures that we picked last time, nice homes. All right, let's see. I'm looking for where on the agenda does it say the meeting minutes? Am I spacing on it, or I don't think it's there.
Here, but
Okay.
So
last meeting.
yeah, so there somehow it got dropped off, but they are there under the.
I know they're in the packet.
Yeah, they're there, so we can go ahead and approve them. Or not.
Okay, so
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I
and I'll
second that.
I'll give the second to Jenna.
Okay. Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, next item on our agenda before we get into it, our Art Without Walls, as we discuss where possibly to place our new sculptures. Are there any comments from the public on agenda item number 2? Nope. Okay. Does this subcommittee have any recommendations they would like to share with the rest of the commission?
Yes, we do. We actually found placement for all of these sculptures, and I'm just pulling up. Donna had made a presentation here. Did she share that with you, John?
She did
No?
not.
Okay. Okay. Should I share my screen?
She did mention in an
Yeah.
email that she shared. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay, good. I'm disabled.
John says he's working on it.
Okay. I can
Pending
email
one
too, John.
moment.
All right, try it now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll start with, oh my goodness, this is so small. The compass turtle. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
So we thought this would look great at Holt and Grant Park Lane. This is where we initially had the obelisk slated to be installed, but now that is no longer going to be one of our sculptures, right? Because the artist is no longer offering it. So we thought that would look nice in that corner. It's playful, it's colorful. How does everybody feel about that? Or should I just go through all of them?
It's a nice
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go through all of them.
Okay.
And then if anybody is like really opposed to it, they can yell out right now, but we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay, great. So for Los Altos Avenue and West Edith, we thought this would be interesting, the seasonal rotation, because you come at that intersection from all different angles. And so I think that it would have the most exposure because there's all 4 seasons, right? So we thought that it definitely needed to be somewhere where there's exposure from different sides. It's also colorful and a nice entry piece for downtown Los Altos. In front of 127 First Street, our existing pad is in front of that new arcade. I forgot what it's called.
Hyperspace?
Yes, hyperspace. Thank you. So we were envisioning something kind of playful. We thought bubbles might suit that space. Seeing head nods, that's good. So this one was kind of fun. 197, we also have an existing pad here, and the store, it's a consignment store. It's called Encore. It's been there forever. And they have little swirlies on their sign. And so we thought this might be interesting because it mimics that. So it might speak to that design element. I forgot what this one was called, but everybody can see it, right?
That is
Yes.
that
I can
that
zoom
is
in.
that is Vortex.
Vortex, thank you.
Vortex is what it's called.
So I'm going to skip this one because we were concerned about the size. We initially thought the art piece might be interesting there at State Street and Second. We have an existing pad, but I think this piece is too large. So we're skipping that existing pad for now. Rosita Park, where Dragonfly was, we thought the colored wood blocks, the Joyful Rhythms, might be interesting. It's also playful. It's the entrance of a park. There's also the school, Covington's there. So we thought that kind of played nicely with that.
And the preschool is there too.
And the preschool, Stepping Stones, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
plus all the soccer and baseball and all that.
Right. So it's, yeah, playful, imaginative.
Great idea.
Yeah. Heritage Oaks Park. We thought the turtle would be cute there. I'm not sure there's a creek at that park. Is there?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that's like
it's got water
that's
in it
along,
now, but you
yeah.
know, the last couple of years it's been dry.
Okay. That's towards the back, right? Where like that,
Yes.
like climbing. Okay. Yeah. So we thought this would be interesting and cute there.
I think the
Lincoln
kids love
Park.
it there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. That's a really nice park. We've been spending time there lately, and I feel like it's an underappreciated park. Lincoln Park, where Bird currently is, we were envisioning the dancing birds. And I know we initially talked about putting this at Woodland Library, but we thought this could be an interesting piece because it already sort of replaces like a bird-like statue, and also there's seating. So that might be nice for people using the park, and also for the art exhibit or the art walk that
Art
we
and
have
Wine
there.
Fest- Art
Yeah,
and
the Art
Wine
and Wine.
Fest- not the
Yeah.
Art and Wine.
What is it?
The Rotary.
Art in the park.
Art in the Park.
Art in the
Yes.
Park.
Thank you. Thank you. So, and then I know we talked with Art Los Altos about putting something on 3rd Street. And I think we had briefly discussed putting this art sign. We do not have an existing pad. It is kind of a large sculpture. So
And did you know
does
what
everyone-
block it would be in? Or you haven't figured
we
that
were
out?
talking about the block, that clothing store that closed on the corner with like the rock facade.
Oh,
What was that called?
I don't
across
know.
from
About, yeah.
the one that's across from Sakura or Satura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Possibly there. I think we need to determine if there's enough space. So for the fire station, or for the tolling of the bell, we had talked about putting this in front of the fire station. We have 2 fire stations in Los Altos. We have the one in South Los Altos near Foothill, and then we have the one in North Los Altos near Los Altos High. I was kind of envisioning this for South Los Altos, but
Yeah, we already have a sculpture in the one on Almond Avenue.
Right.
the swirl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then this one, we're still waiting on more info. Were we able to get in touch with the artist on that? We wanted to find out more about, okay.
Yeah,
What was
so
said about that?
I reached out and my question was is it mountable on a wall? And the artist said absolutely. Didn't see if they had any more info on it, but yes, they said it was able to be mounted on the wall.
Okay, great. So we were waiting to find out, does anybody have any input for that one? Did anybody have any ideas where that would be best suited?
I have to
We can,
think about it. Maybe the building at Grant Park would, looking out on one of the fields, perhaps.
yeah, maybe. So Grant Park does have a lot of art now because we have the mosaic, the flower mosaic. We have the dog,
Mhm.
and then we'd possibly have the turtle compass. But I mean,
It
I
is a
love Grant
large
Park.
park, though.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you want, maybe the subcommittee could give a little more thought and come back next month because it's new information that it can be hung.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. How does everybody feel about this on 3rd Street?
I like it. I think it's a
I
great.
like it.
idea.
Okay.
I was gonna move to approve everything except for mount on a wall.
Okay.
If
You know
if I
that
could
one.
if I could jump in, we
Mhm.
might find it hard to find a space that big.
It's pretty big.
75 inches is about 6 feet 3 inches, and 65 inches is, so you're talking 6 feet by 5 is the space, is the
Mhm.
minimum space that would be needed.
Mhm.
So we'd have to see if there's a space out there that's that big.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion that the subcommittee go back now that we have the butterflies that we know it's mountable, and perhaps the art one that they can come back with suggestions next month. Also,
Mhm.
we're short a couple people in the meeting today, so.
Mhm.
But I want to give the subcommittee kudos because you've got some very interesting locations that you've picked for the artwork. And I appreciate it because you've looked in corners of the city that I either don't usually go to or didn't even think about. I think like the bubbles one in front of hyperspace could be really fun.
Yeah. Right. Well, and we tried to take into consideration existing pads as well. So that's why both of the 1st Street locations, a lot of these actually have existing pads. So we are trying to be mindful of that. And then a few we just couldn't accommodate. So yeah, and we tried,
Then
like with the Encore, we tried to like, continue the design direction, right? With the swirls, try to make it intentional.
now I know that we try to be careful when we match like some kind of symbol to a business, only because I don't wish Encore anything happened to the store, but they may not be there forever. And
Mhm.
if we put that statue there, and then let's say it's either donated or the city buys it. So,
Mhm.
but John, is it okay if I mention something about I think it's item number, what's not on here, about the library, which will go into the sculpture maintenance evaluation, the next item, that we might be wanting to look at something to go into a new courtyard, possibly for the main library, but that could take several years. So
Yeah, that could be a while down the road.
okay, then let me just backpedal and ignore what I was saying. So Terry made a suggestion that for a number of these, other than maybe the 2 I mentioned, that we just go ahead and vote and give either a thumbs up or a thumbs down as a grouping. Do we need to make a motion for that?
Can I ask one thing really quick? So for
All right.
the piece, the first piece there, the compass turtle, that pad, the commission had approved moving the magnify piece into that spot. Of course, it hasn't been put in yet, so it's still open in my opinion. But the commission had approved that.
I thought that we had approved it at the other entrance of Grant Park, Newcastle.
We
Right.
had, and then when the other one, the obelisk fell through, the commission had said, well, we can put the magnify there. So
Mm.
I was gonna suggest either we put it back where we had originally planned, or you've got that Second and State Street might be a good spot for it as well. So just
Mhm.
some things to think about.
Okay. How does everyone feel about that?
Makes
So
sense.
what's things going at the Newcastle entrance now?
No, remember
noth-
we had originally met Terry to like
Yeah, we
place
wanted
the,
the 3.
yeah. I
What
forgot
happened
why
to it?
we didn't, what happened with that? Why did we decide against that? I can't remember.
So when the other one fell through, the commission
Mhm.
said, well, instead of pouring new one, new pad over by the Newcastle entrance,
Mm.
let's just put it at the Holt
Oh,
corner.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is now, I like the recommendation of the compass turtle there. And so my question would be, do we want to go back to the Newcastle entrance for magnify, or do we want to see about, at State and Second Street?
Mm.
I-
It is
I
a big spot.
buy it at Grant Park. I also like, what is this? The compass turtle at the Newcastle entrance.
Mm.
So Terry, you're saying have both sets of sculptures at Grant Park?
Yes, because they're so far away from each other. Newcastle is, what, 2,000 feet away.
It's a big park.
It's a
It's a
very
big park.
big park.
Mhm. Yeah. And those entrances they're very different. It's a very
Yeah.
different approach to the park. And there's a
And
lot
a
of
lot
open
of people
space.
only use one entrance. They don't use
Mhm.
both.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jenna, I have a question about the First Street placement.
Yeah.
Is that address 197 First Street in front of Safeway?
Yes, it's across from Safeway.
Because I think that consignment store, not that it matters, but just so you know, I
Mhm.
think it's out of business.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I also
Okay.
believe it's going out of business also.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
regardless, I still think it could suit the space, but
I think the snails or whatever those are is
Mhm.
kind of a neat thing for that
this,
spot because there's so many different little businesses down that alleyway,
mhm,
where Encore was. There's
Mhm.
like 3 art places, there's hair places, there's a tailor, there's a
Mhm.
garden florist place. So there's a lot of different little spots.
And
Yeah.
a squiggle is an organic form, and it goes with pretty much anything.
mhm.
Then I
So
had
somebody with squiggly hair.
another question when
Yeah,
you're ready.
exactly. Yeah, of course.
By the way, I think this is fabulous. You guys did an amazing job. I mean, I have no
Thank you.
question about it, but the sculpture for the fire station, is that something? It's beautiful, and I think it makes sense to put it in South Los Altos because there is smoke, I think, in front of the North Los Altos address. But
Yes.
would you be asking the fire department for their opinion, or is that? I know we don't typically do that, but I'm wondering if we should.
I don't think that would hurt.
John?
Yeah, we can reach out to them.
Right. Yeah. Just don't want to. Want to make sure that they're on board with it and don't have any concerns or issues.
Mhm.
Thanks.
All right, yeah,
That's
let's
a
have
good idea.
John. That's a good idea. Let's have
Mhm.
John reach out.
Mhm.
So then do we want to make a motion other than the 2 that need possible, the art one and butterflies, that we put them where they've been suggested?
And fire station.
I think we need
And the
to-
fire
yeah,
station needs,
to pull the fire station, the tolling of the bell until we check with the fire department. So I'll do
okay.
a friendly amendment to them.
Okay.
Okay, so we have tolling of the bell. said what is the title? I can't read it. It's the font.
The turtle one is Compass Turtle.
Okay, Compass Turtle,
And
and
then
then art.
seasonal rotation. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking that if we make a motion, we should make a motion and with the titles that we're
Exclude,
excluding
yeah.
for further conversation.
So we'd be.
Okay, and then
excluding
also mount on a
Butterflies in the
wall.
Park, tolling of the bell and the compass turtle.
And the mount on a wall.
And is it
Well, that's called
Mother
Oh,
and
sorry.
Park.
Sorry, I was reading right here. Butterflies in the Park, Mother and Son.
So the first one and the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I count three. We have tolling of the bell because we want to talk to the the folks at the fire station, Compass Turtle, art, and Butterflies in the Park
Correct.
as one so there's four
Mm-hmm.
Can I
that
ask?
need a little bit more.
Can I ask what I missed the conversation or the question on the Compass Turtle?
Well, we're determining whether or not to put it in that corner of Grant Park and Holton Grant Park Lane.
Okay, so you want to have further conversation about, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So wait, just for
So-
confirmation, the Magnify, that would be three separate pads, right? And we have one,
Correct.
okay.
And John, for Magnify, wherever it goes in Grant Park, we would still need two more pads.
In
Or
theory, yeah.
The
Two or
spot that
three.
we were
I can't
thinking.
remember how big that pad
Okay.
that they poured was for the obelisk. I'd have to check it out. But yeah, I think we'd probably need
Okay,
at least one more, if not two more.
okay. So I will, with everybody's permission, I'm going to try to make a motion that we place the sculptures as the subcommittee has suggested, minus tolling of the bells, Compass Turtle, art, and Butterflies in the Park, Mother and Son, pending further investigation and or questions with the fire department.
I second the motion.
John, you want to take a
Okay.
vote?
Yep. Commissioner Couture,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yeah.
Motion passes 4-0.
And next meeting, I guess the subcommittee will come back to us. John, you'll come back to us with some comments from the fire, if there are any from the fire station, and hopefully we'll be able to wrap this up at next meeting with the subcommittee meeting again.
Okay. And what I will do is
Okay.
I'll reach out to
Let's
all
go
of
on
the,
to agenda item. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I'll reach out to all the,
The artists?
artists, including the ones that there's still some questions, and just let those ones know we're still working on exact placement.
Okay. And just to clarify, the Los Altos Avenue West Edith spot, that's where we used to have it. And then after that, we had the three, I think they were like circle things.
Yeah, I think there's three
Okay,
pads.
because I think that'll
Yeah,
be a nice
there are.
pop of color there.
Mhm.
Maybe Magnify should go there.
You know, the more I think
I
about
didn't say anything. Let's move
Magnify,
on to the next
yeah.
agenda.
Okay, yeah. Go on.
No, go ahead, sorry.
No, the
Go ahead.
more I think about Magnify in that corner of Grant Park, I don't think it's appropriate there. Yeah, I don't know. That's my take. That's it.
Do you want to come back next meeting and you'll, if there's somewhere else that the subcommittee thinks would be a better spot?
Yeah, I think I would like to do some research on Magnify.
That'd be great.
Okay, perfect. All right, gives you something to do going into the new year. Let's go on to our sculpture maintenance evaluation before we discuss anything. Do we still have a member of the public? I
Yeah,
see
hi.
Larry is still there.
Hello.
Larry, hello, did you have any comments on
No,
agenda item 3, the sculpture?
yes, and apologies. I was trying to stay muted because I have a cough and I didn't want to bore you all with it. But just a question about the previous item, which is, as somebody's just kind of curious about these walking around, about how long does it take for this to deploy? Because there's some really cool things there, and I would love to see them out there as soon as possible. Just curious what the time frame is.
I'll let
It-
John answer that, and thank you for saying you're happy with them.
It largely depends on a number of factors. It could be as quickly as, say, a month and a half to could be as long as 6 months. A lot of it depends on if we need to do any prep work for the site. Luckily, I think just about every single one of these already has a concrete pad poured, which will cut out at least a few weeks, if not a couple of months of the lead time. And then it really just depends on the schedules of the artist.
Right, if they haven't made the sculpture, then they have to make it, so.
Or if they're
Just
coming from,
Generally, most of the sculptures are made, but they're coming from a long
They're
distance.
coming
They have
from-
to
yeah.
schedule it.
Okay, I'll look forward to seeing them.
Yeah, okay, stay tuned. Did you have any comments about our sculpture maintenance evaluation?
No.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to that next agenda item. If I recall, it was our last meeting, John, where we discussed going ahead and doing maintenance on 2 pieces that are in front of the main library. Zooscapes and Magic Fish, if I remember the titles correctly.
Yep.
Just to keep everyone in the loop, I've spoken with Freddie, who is in charge of the Library Commission. She's the chair, and it looks like a patron of the literary arts, it may be donating money to the city to put in a new outdoor area right where there's like a water fountain-ish sort of area. John can correct me if I'm wrong about the exact location.
Oh, awesome.
Which it would be great. It would be like an outdoor area where they can do kids programs and people can meet and staff could go outside and eat their lunch, and it's all possibly goodness. And it looks like Anita has just joined us. And as we know, these things always take a while. But the question comes in, I believe that Zooscapes, which is the 2 that look into the children's section, that particular set of sculptures is starting to deteriorate and really needs some work, but it would probably have to be moved for the work on this area anyway. John and I have talked about it, and John feels that we should probably go ahead with the preservation work on that one, just because they are deteriorating, and maybe look at where else, if this area does get built out, where else we could place them. If that happens, we don't know yet. I guess at worst, they end up in storage for a little while. And then John, you had told me Magic Fish doesn't appear that they're going to do it on the work on site, and that it appears that it wouldn't need to be moved, if that's correct? From
Correct.
the current plans?
yes, correct. Yeah, so as the chair has mentioned, the company that I spoke with said that they would actually come and get Zooscapes, take it to their facility so they could do the preservation work there. As mentioned, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. They said that Magic Fish could be done on site. However, it wouldn't happen until after the rainy season. So we're looking at potentially March. If California is lucky, May
For June.
or June. So yeah, so it'd be a few months before Magic Fish would happen anyways.
But John, when you and I talked, you felt that the sooner that Zooscapes was taken away, the better, because with every rain, it deteriorates a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it would be as mentioned, if the library project moves forward, it will still be a couple of, well, at least a year, if not 2 or 3, before anything actually happens, just with design and approvals and construction windows, etc. And so it would be prudent to preserve that piece to get started right away. And yes, as we know, luckily we've seen a couple of heavy rainstorms already, and hopefully those continue. And so the sooner probably is the better. So yeah, so that was the purpose of the agenda item, was to update the commission on where we're at on those two. And so, assuming that the commission still thinks it's worthwhile to move forward on the preservation of the two, I'll work on getting contracts signed and getting them starting to work on the two pieces, or at least scheduled.
John, did the contractor give you any idea how long Zooscapes might possibly take to fix?
I don't
months?
recall. As we, as I negotiate the contract with them, that will certainly be part of what is discussed, is the timeline.
Okay. So going forward, if we agree that to continue with having those two pieces worked on, we should also think about, or keep in the back of our minds, that may need to move Zooscapes either temporarily or for good, and we can worry about that in a couple of months, and or possibly think about commissioning a piece for this new area if and when it looks like it's going to happen. So we don't. But I don't think we need to make a motion unless someone feels like we shouldn't fix this particular piece, these two pieces.
I think we should repair them. John, I have a question. If
Mhm.
when it comes time to removing the Zooscapes, would we just let the library know? Because my guess is that parents, library people want to know what's happening.
Yeah, we'll make sure that before they're removed that we notify the library. We'll probably send out messages through our social media and other areas. I think it'd be great if the library was okay with it, of putting a sign that says
Yeah.
we're out getting
back.
fixed. We'll be back. And so yeah, so that
We're taking a bath. We're getting a bath.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Monica,
Okay.
I thought we already approved to have those two repaired
Right.
in a
We
previous
did,
meeting.
but my concern is that if this particular project is going to end up blasting that whole area in front of the kids area, we don't know yet. We haven't seen any blueprints. Do we, at that point, do we say, you know what, it was perfect in that spot and there's nowhere else in the city that it could go, these two pieces could go, why did we pay to fix them? So it's more, I think, an informational item / if somebody feels that if that area might be rearranged, that it's not appropriate anymore. And so I just feel like we should, if somebody thinks that they should not be fixed because of that, then I wanted to let them be heard. But I think we're pretty much in agreement that we should go forward. Okay. All right, moving on. That was easy. Commission work plan, John.
Okay. Let me
Do we
share.
have any information about when we might be meeting with the city council?
Still no. But
Okay.
you all will be the first to know when I know.
Okay.
So the commission updated this at the last meeting. Wanted to put it back on to talk about. There was also a chance to talk about adding any new items to the work plan if the commission feels like that would be appropriate.
Do we need to add a line item to explore possible artwork in the new outdoor main library area, like as a placeholder. If that becomes appropriate.
I would suggest holding off, and when we know a little bit more about the plans, then we can certainly add it then.
Okay. I don't think I had anything other, let's see, still have our mural. I did have a comment that we should print our brochures and have them available at the community center, but that's really not part of the work plan. One more an informational item. And I still need to go look at the new city council chamber to see if any artwork would be appropriate for that area. John, you told me it probably wouldn't be. Does anybody have any comments about our work plan for the next year? Nope. Okay. Good deal. All right.
Ambitious.
I know. We'll probably find other things to add there. All right. And I apologize, Larry, I should have asked you if you had any comments on our work plan. I apologize. I did not ask if the public had any comments. My bad. Okay, agenda item, we might get out of here before 6. Agenda item number 5, our art sponsorship program. Before we discuss it, are there any comments from the public? Nope. Okay. So back in October, I went to City Council with a plan that was from the previous Public Arts Commission to have a local partnership with a nonprofit that's associated with Los Altos for some form of art, and we were going to do a micro grant for $1,000, and we decided to table this as a newly formed commission, newly populated commission, populated with new commissioners, that we'd look at it like in September or the fall. The fall is slowly becoming the winter. I'm not sure I'm necessarily wedded to this idea, but I am but one voice. Does anyone have any comments? I hope everybody has actually read this plan. Do they have comments about possibly going through with this? Yes, Janet.
My concern is I feel like we have a lot on our plate with the work plan. And so I think it's a wonderful idea, but maybe we could continue to hold this in a pending pattern and maybe talk about it again next year as we get other work done and complete those projects.
Okay.
And then we could add this in.
I agree. I feel like this is a very coordinated working group and we all pitch in together. And I feel like bringing another person in will spend the whole entire time teaching them about everything instead of getting stuff done.
Okay, so this would be giving a micro grant to a nonprofit to do some kind of art related project, but it would definitely need a subcommittee to work on identifying the actual group and giving the grant and watching them through the process. It would be a whole new process for us. And it sounds like to me we're pretty busy already, so maybe pushing this off. This is almost winter, maybe looking at it again in the springtime could be appropriate.
I agree.
Idea.
John, do we have to make a motion to move this onto a future agenda, or do we
Nope.
just tell you, put it? Okay.
We're good.
Okay, perfect. All right. Before we discuss the commission schedule, meeting schedule for next year, Larry, do you have any comments on the meeting schedule?
You're so gracious to keep asking, but no, I do not.
Well, technically, we are supposed to ask, if there's a member of the public, if you have any comments. So,
No, I get it. It's often Gary heading for us over at Historic, so I appreciate it.
okay. All right, John, do you want to bring up a picture of the schedule that you had in the packet so we can take a quick look?
Sorry, let me unmute. Sure.
Okay.
This one. Okay. So as indicated, meetings are on the fourth Thursday of each month, with the exception of November and December, where we combined, such as tonight, the two meetings into one, and hold that on the second Thursday of December.
I have a comment. I won't be here on June for the whole week, so FYI.
You're gonna miss one meeting in like 2 years, Terry?
Uh-huh, sorry. And I'm gonna be
All right.
somewhere where I don't even think I can dial in, some jungle thing, so
I think
my
that'll be
grandson pick.
okay.
If I could, Monica, that Terry actually reminded me of
Yes.
something that I wanted to mention, which is related to returning to in-person meetings. I would anticipate that the March meeting will be our first in-person meeting. Now, there are some, we're still doing some research as to what changes to state law mean for teleconferencing. So Terry, you mentioned that you may not even be somewhere where you can dial in. That may not be as viable of an option, depending on exactly what the new state laws mean. So just as a heads up for everybody, we may only have 2 more Zoom meetings before we're back to in person.
Praise God.
Oh, you say that now, but then you're gonna have to look at us in real person.
I've met all you guys anyways. Big deal. The problem is they have to suffer with me.
Well. Now, John, you don't have any vacations to Tahiti planned in this schedule, do you?
Oh, I'm sure I do, but I don't know them yet.
Okay.
He has adequate coverage in his very competent staff.
Okay. That's right. We did have a meeting recently where John was not here.
And it ran beautifully without me. So I'm unimportant to the commission, to the running of the commission meetings.
I think it was our shortest meeting ever.
So
Okay,
since you're talking about that, if somebody's going to be late, I think it would be good if you could email the chair the day before. So anything that we need to vote on, we could put it towards the end of the agenda so that in case we're running short on quorum, she would know.
I think
Thank you.
shouldn't we email or notify both Monica, the chair, and then John?
Well, that's what I always do, but
Yeah,
John, Monica usually emails John.
yeah.
Okay.
So
That would be, but it'd be helpful to let both of us know.
the reason I say that is because some of these members have jobs that they actually can get off at 5, and there's no way they can get to council by 5.
Mm.
Janet,
Talking about
Terry,
me.
Jenna, Monica, all 4 of us.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. That's a really good point because I just came from a 4:00 meeting and I was able to
Hello.
buy because it was online.
And
That's
I was driving from San Jose and got home just in time.
I hadn't
So-
even read that. But yeah, maybe so if when we go back in person, maybe we're going to have to adjust the time a little bit.
well,
That's something, is that something we can do, John? I don't think we can actually do that, can we?
Yeah, we could. We would just put it on as an agenda item to discuss the meeting date and or meeting day and time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll play it by ear right now.
Sounds good.
Okay, we-
on that note, I think we'll go on to informational items.
if we
Um,
if we could, I would like a motion to approve
I
The
move
meeting
to
schedule.
approve the meeting agenda for 2023.
Second.
John?
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Couture,
Yes,
Vice Chair Corrigan,
Yes.
and Chair Waldman.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
John, do you have any informational items for us?
Other than I hope everyone has a wonderful end of the year and a safe end of the year and rainy.
And I just want to thank you, John, for all your help and support and guiding us through this whole process. And I think everyone agrees that you've been amazing and helped us so much. The other thing, I don't know, Monica, since Mary Nander is on the line, and I think this may be her last public arts meeting. I don't know if you want to say anything.
I was going to hold that to our commissioners' reports and comments.
Okay,
but,
so apologies. So
let me just ask one question of John while we're on informational items. Commission recruitment, do we have an idea when that starts? Because we do have an open slot.
Yeah, that'll start after the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
Yeah, we conducted a recruitment a couple of months ago and received a total of 0 applicants.
We'd like to improve on that.
It would be great. So when we do the next recruitment, if you know people or even if you don't know them.
Larry, would you like to be on a commission?
Larry is on a commission.
Larry, I apologize. And so let's go on to commissioner reports and comments. I assume since you mentioned Gary, maybe it was Environmental Commission, but I apologize for not knowing. I wanted to make a comment that can we make sure our brochures get printed out on decent paper and placed into the community center?
Yep, I got a
And
note
then
for
since
myself.
we have, perfect. And then since we have Anita on, I don't see her, but I see a circle and a semicircle. I know you've been, there she is. I know you've been with us for 2 years, us being the commission, and I know you've been, on the council for 4 years, and, we appreciate everything you've done for the city and for our commission. You've been wonderful and awesome, and I don't even have words to describe. I don't know if any of my fellow commissioners want to step in and try and sing your praises better than I have, but, we thank you so, so much.
You're
And
very welcome.
Hope you have enjoyed art.
I have to admit that way back the very first time I saw a presentation from the Arts Commission, I think I was very new on council, and I was just mostly mystified. And didn't really know much about what in the world the Art Commission did. So I've learned a lot in the 4 years I've been on council and in the years that I've been the liaison here. It's been the most easy, most functional, successful commission that I think I've seen in operation in the whole time I've been around the city. You guys you do so much and you work so well together and you use your subcommittees effectively, and your chairs and all of you are appropriately paranoid about the Brown Act. And so we don't get anybody in trouble. And I just am so grateful for everything that all of you have done. And people will say to me, well, what does the Art Commission do? And wherever we are, I can turn around and I can find something, one of the sculptures or, something. And I'll say, now just imagine the space and that's not there. That's what the Art Commission does. And it's just a tremendous addition to our city. So please keep on keeping on. And I did have a conversation with Gabe about the brochure. I looked at it and you guys know I have some background in owning a magazine and graphic stuff, even though I am not a graphic designer. And I said to myself, whoever did this
Jenna,
was a magician, because to get all of that wedged into that space was amazing. So not to confound things and potentially as a future agenda item, but Gabe and I did discuss the possibility of making it on a bigger piece of paper before you pay to have it printed on nice paper. So, and then I started fooling around with, what could you do on 8.5 by 14 and 11 by 17? And then I said, Anita, this is not your job. But it's a lot. And unfortunately, the images, as good as they are so tiny that I don't think they're as inviting as they could be. So, that way, I'm just reporting my conversation. I am not approving, directing, or otherwise to anything that y'all might do.
as you know, we in the Art Commission take direction very carefully and we consider it and we usually try to do it.
It's not direction. I did not provide any direction.
Anyway, Anita, we want to thank you for being such a good steward for Los Altos.
Thanks, Terry. You guys are super, really super.
And really helping guide us on how we could also serve the city. I mean, the circumstances that we serve is so much easier than what you've done for 4 years. And what you did was so impactful. And we're grateful for everything you've done for the Art Commission and for Los Altos.
And I'm just grateful that John came back.
Yes, we are too.
And he keeps talking about going and doing other things, but it's really a challenge. It's a challenge staffing this, as you know, because there's nobody on staff who's assigned to this, and I'm not, I have mixed feelings about whether that's even possible.
The only reason he stays is because we're so much fun.
I would like to think so, and I would like to think that he thinks so.
You are a lot of fun. I agree.
And we don't give him any static.
And he's learned about art, and he's learned how to hang things on walls. He's got some new skills. But
That
Anita,
5 cents will get you a long way.
not in this economy. But I do think I speak for all my fellow commissioners that we appreciate all the guidance you've given us over the last 2 years.
You're
We've
very
had
welcome.
numerous-
And it's been easy. It's been really easy.
We've
guys.
had numerous liaisons from council who never showed up to any meetings and never responded to anything. So we are very appreciative.
Just keep
And
on.
we will try. And on that note, do we have any potential future agenda items that anyone, other than keeping Anita with us, that anybody would like to see on a agenda in the next
Do you
month?
want Jenna to go back and look and see if she can make the paper a little bit bigger and maybe make the brochure?
Or do we think that, I don't know if we're allowed to discuss this at this point, John, but my thinking is print it out as is and then look at possibly expanding it, because we're going to have some new sculptures anyway.
That's
It'll take
true.
several months to show up.
Let's save
That is true.
discussion for future agenda.
I think
Let-
Jenna and I
let-
have a future agenda item for you for January, which is to update the commission on the planning for a community art engagement event, similar to what we did last year. Kind of we're thinking, Jenna, the January, February timeframe, kind of near Valentine's Day.
Great idea.
Perfect idea. Jenna, was that a yes or?
Yes,
I just
yeah.
got
This is
Okay.
Janet's just so eloquent. There's nothing to add.
Okay, yes, she is. Any other potential future agenda items that anyone can think of before we call it a night? Nope, okay. Everybody have I think it was John who said have a safe and healthy and possibly wet, soggy holiday season filled with art and family. And see you, I guess, was January 26th.
See you next year.
See you
Mm.
next year and
See you next
sometime
year.
into fourth Thursday of January.
Happy holidays,
All
everybody.
right.